Curse me for a fool. Should have known better than to underestimate the Illuminati. I assumed the missing piece in their plan was the codex fragment. They were talking about round rocks all along. Let's mount a rescue. Now, without delay. To the Illuminati, she's no better than a cog in that monstrous machine. It's like that she is being held somewhere in or close to Alexander's upper body. Continue your push through the left arm, and while the Illuminati are distracted, I will search for a way forward. Arm of the Sun. So we can unselect that, select that, and queue on in. Whiteburn Front is closest to Camp Dragonhead. Vivi and his father were part of the Hildebrand quest and basically will never make another appearance that I know of. There's a lot of characters that are like from Final Fantasy standalone games that make appearances in this are one-offs and usually side quests. So that was more of like, I don't think we ever actually met his father. I think it was his grandfather that is talked about. Greetings, traveler. Visitors from one elements are rare to these climes. Told you seek to fish the magnificent cloud cutters that grace the sea of clouds. Squires, we practice catching our dinner, but the risk is trying for even the most experienced among us. One accustomed to the chore might hope to succeed where so many accomplished fishermen have failed is beyond me, but mine is not to stand in the way of foolhardy endeavors. The fish float upon inflating pockets of vapor, allowing them to ride currents of air. They are thus able to escape predators and take refuge in the clouds. Moreover, an aerial fish requires an aerial worm, in this case, hoverworms. Such is the extent of the knowledge that it will confer upon you. Fear the remainder is a matter of experience and skill. Should wish you good luck. You'll surely need it. Now that we've done that bit, we can go back here. Yeah, I mean, we'll see Hildebrand again. It's gonna be a little bit, because I do... So, there's a set of Hildebrand quests in A Realm Reborn, Heavensward, Stormblood, and Endwalker. I wait until the end of the post-patches when all of them have been unlocked and do them all in one go. So we won't see him again until we get to the end of Stormblood, but we will see them again then for a new adventure. But yeah, I don't think Vivi makes another appearance, none that I'm aware of. So you're to pluck 5 cloud cutters from the skies of Carthus. Are we certain these aren't birds? Do they look like birds to you? Fabled cloud cutters. Turns out they weren't birds after all. Just like jellyfish, they jump, jerk, and jolt to jiggle themselves up. Oh, speaking of things that float around aimlessly. Guardians consider the cloud cutter a crest of class and character, and confer them to commemorate and congratulate countrymen who commit conduct a cut above the clouds, if you will. I won't. But what use would it be to Carvelin? Local lore alleges that a legendary Elizin in Limsa Limits is actually an Ishgardian lord. I wonder what you'd do if it were Carvelin. I'll do what I'm going to do anyway. Deliver the fish. halcyon rod. Gods, this is unbelievable. According to the age-old adage, when the going gets tough, the tough go fishing. Unfortunately, the adage is of little use when the tough going happens to be a fishing ban. Haven't you heard? You haven't heard, have you? In there, Slafferson has closed all docks and ports for fishing vessels from the authority of Admiral Merlweb. Some sorry sailor supposedly spotted a serpent at sea. So Slafferson stated that, for our safety, all our services must cease. It's also frustrating. Well, we may be a group of sedentary fishers, but we're not about to take this sitting down. First, we need to know what we're up against. The Brugair Consortium mainstays ties to the Maelstrom, so Sybil may know something we do not. It is time to go fishing for information. You again. Certainly is a pleasure to see you again, though I wish it were under happier circumstances. The news came as a shock to us as well. Any lemon who's ever boarded a boat has heard the tale. Back when the world was naught but a dry, lifeless rock, Lemelin created a giant serpent. From its massive maw, the creature spat forth water until the land was filled. But it would not stop. To prevent the world from being completely submerged, the navigator trapped the serpent in a floating island with the warning that if it were ever to be freed, the seas would rise until the world ended. This is from where the thalassocratic motto, "Till sea swallows all," comes. You can imagine the Admiral's surprise upon learning a sailor claims to actually have seen the serpent in question. While you and I may recognize it as a fairy tale aimed to scare children, the panic in the streets is real. And so, Slafferson hasn't any choice but to take drastic measures in order to maintain the peace. Regrettably, those drastic measures have dire consequences for both your guild and my consortium. And the Maelstrom is too occupied with ship inaugurations to conduct a proper inquiry, meaning our only hope is to take matters into our own firm yet supple hands. And it may be impossible to prove the sea serpent does not exist. Perhaps the testimony of the eyewitnesses could be impugned. I believe you have met the sailor responsible for the sighting, the one known as Chuchurun. Chuchurun see big fish at sea. Some say sea serpent. But Chuchurun just want to fish to fish. Sea fishermen follow Wallago about fishing fish in sea. I've seen enough at sea to know when sailors are seeing things, and what Chuchurun saw was no sea serpent, for sure. Missing your marks will yank mountains out of molehills, distance to deceive and delude the lands of man at sea. My money says your serpent is a Monslaya marlin, a fairly big fish, but by no means a monster. You can see them barreling back and forth along the north of Bloodshore. But if spied from the shore, people will just shrug their shoulders. You need to make them meet that marlin up close and personal. I'll admit it's easier expressed than executed, and I've never nabbed one. If you don't loosen up your line, you'll rip your rod right out of your hands. But first, you need a bite. They won't waste their breath on worms from other waters. Moslaya marlin demanded mooching, more familiar to his fish-wheeling, perhaps. Not just any act of mooching, but the daunting duty of the dramatic double mooch. I reckon you're ready for it. Get a gobby ball and haul in a herring. Once you've hitched your herring, offer it up to an ogre barracuda, then bait that beast to make the Moslaya marlin bite. Makes me want to sail out myself, but Slafferson would slay any guildmaster who slights him. Besides, I'm sure Sispu would sooner see you succeed at it. Here. I can't believe we're reduced to this. Still, Olog has never been right for running a guild. He's never been wrong about a fish. He says our serpent is a Mausolea Marlin. That's what it is. That's the Marlin? I can see how someone might mistake it for a monster. Hopefully Cypherson will see it the same. Come, Sybil arranged for us to speak with the Grand Storm Marshal. Oh, you. How many moons has it been? I can scarcely remember the last time I boarded a merchant ship for anything other than an inspection. Quite comfortable indeed aboard the luxurious fleet of the Burgair Consortium. No doubt to put crooked mongers and traffickers at ease while making illicit deals at sea. Perish the thought. We would never dream of calling the Grand Storm Marshal to a vessel where such roguery took place. Shame. I'd imagine that sort of vessels were the most fun. I suppose we'd then best head to business. Of course, sir. Allow me to introduce you to the Mausolea Marlin. Big fish. Great Lamellin's ghost. The Blair thing is massive. However did you catch it? I suppose that doesn't matter. At any rate, it is your contention that this Marlin is our sea serpent? You can sing yourself to sleep with that silly sea serpent story, but it still won't hold water. I knew things were proceeding too smoothly. You always know just the wrong time to act the guildmaster, don't you? Never you mind. I've known Wallologa long enough not to mind his manners. Unlike his fish, I know when I'm being baited. Oh, you've been baiting and bullying us with your band. Ben, will you let up and lift it? A fine question. To lift the fishing ban or not lift the fishing ban? What to do, what to do, what to do. On one hand, I could lift the ban, but on the other... Now who's the one baiting? Why not? Of course, there are formalities we must observe, so I'm afraid the declaration will have to wait until the morrow. The ban will be lifted, won't it? Unless you'd prefer it weren't. By no means, it's just... fear that simply bringing you a large fish might fail to serve as adequate evidence in overturning a former military promulgation. Well, never really believed all the sea serpent silliness in the first place. It's more about putting Lamence's minds at ease than anything else. The Marlin you brought me should accomplish just that. A few of our more paranoid conspiracy theorists in the Maelstrom alleged the serpent to be part of an elaborate Zagian plot. So this should make for a nice laugh at their expense as well. And to think, this all started because someone spotted a large fish. Because fishtails are wont to grow in size, these large fish became serpent size and then ceased to be a fish altogether. Makes you wonder what other sorts of Oberon fantasies we've all been led to believe. Sounds like you're ready to lift the ban whether we brought you the Marlin or not. If only were that simple. Fine Grand Storm Marshal I would be if I went lifting bans willy-nilly without any evidence the problem had been solved. This Marlin is essential to assuaging the irrational fears of the public. Well, then I suppose Archon's efforts weren't for naught, after all. I only wonder how the fishtail grew out of proportion in the first place. I don't delight in delving into details, but that deed might have been my doing. Why am I not surprised? When I mentioned to Chichurun that the Mausolea Marlin was a monster, I meant it metaphorically, but perhaps he misunderstood. I think it would be in the best interest of all involved if I don't hear any more of this story. The Maelstrom expresses its gratitude for your efforts in bringing this evidence to light. Your guild will be notified when the fishing ban is formally lifted. I bid you good day. I said good day! Stole the fizzy lifting things, which bumped into the ceiling, which now needs to be washed and sanitized, so you lose. You get nothing. Terrifying to think a little exaggeration can get out of hand, particularly when you're considering how much fishermen exaggerate. But it sounds like Slufferson knew something was fishy all along. Nevertheless, you saved our guild from destruction at the hands of an imaginary sea serpent. Funny how Numulika delivered you to our doorstep just when we needed you most. And I certainly can't consider you a guppy anymore, now that you've caught a marlin the guildmaster never quite reeled in. I'd say we name you the guildmaster, then Wallalago would have nothing to dodge. I'm not ready to let that fish off the hook so easily. But I suppose we could at least let him know he has a rival. And that might be your finest accomplishment of all, luring Wallalago back to work. Good timing. Blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Less talky, more letting me change my class. Click the button. Thank you. Ready? Whee! Oh god. Oh, Maiden. Rude. Can I... Well, both of the tanks went the other way. Cool. Okay, so there's alpha and beta, and they split, so you want tank healer deep in each set. Not that it really matters, as clearly shown, but... Ah, spiky outside. Something tells me there's gonna be a knockback. Where am I supposed to... Oh. This one. I swear, I always get lost in this one. Whee! Ow. I'm missing like all the things that are hitting me. Where is it? I'm gonna assume you don't want this getting to him. Someone gets targeted and taken into there, and then they need to be released, yada yada yada. This happened multiple times, blah blah. Oh, 2 people got taken. Okay. So, ranged DPS should do that, because, well, I can't, really, because it's spiky. I never got kidnapped. What's the big deal? It's not particularly difficult. I could have done better at dodging some stuff, but... the exit there. I don't want any of it. Let me out. Shh. Uplander sends Quinksing scurrying. Illuminati think twice before threatening us again. Uplander is nearly through left arm. Next Uplander must pour into inner parts and save Round Rocks. Congratulations on your victory over Quickthinks. While you were busy dismantling his flying machine, I finished charting Alexander's interior. The chamber you reached is situated in the innermost part of the left sector, which means your next aim should be... Shh. Backlix does not trust Treasure Hunter. 3 years ago she summoned Metal Giant. Bactrix wonders if she still wishes to finish mission of dead comrades. I don't blame you for doubting me. Truth be told, my former mentors often stressed that were only unthinkable to happen. It would be my burden, as the youngest, to carry on their work. Building the Codex's perfect world was their dream, not mine. I only borrowed it. As long as I was with those I held dear, I could happily have devoted myself to any cause. Seeing their passion, their joy, that was what filled me with resolve. And it was that which drove me to collect the pieces of the Codex. All their talk of learning and reason, of justice and perfection, meant little to me in itself. Sometimes wonder how I was able to read the Enigma Codex in the first place. It was because my youthful mind was as a blank slate, receptive to any ideal, but convincingly enough. In the end, of course, it didn't matter. The Primal took my friends' passion, their joy, and their idealism, and ground them into dust. Though I survived, my commitment to the cause did not. But simply, I had no need for a perfect world without them to share it. So believe me when I tell you that I did not seek Alexander's return to realize the dreams of the dead. I only wished to see him again. Meaning your leader. The section of Alexander you've been exploring is called Midas, a king from a legend of Eld. Midas entreated the gods for a finger that would turn all he touched into gold. The gods duly obliged. But in his carelessness, he transformed the one he loved most in the world into a lifeless golden statue. Thus, the thing he coveted became his undoing. So it was with me in mine. We have but paused for a moment to consider the means, not simply the end. My friends would still be alive, but we did not, and they are gone. My one remaining wish is simple, to speak with the man I love once more. If I could do that, I would be satisfied. I don't know if that's a possibility. There. I've told you everything. Assuming no one else wishes to question my motives, I would speak of Round Rock's rescue, as was my original intent. Now listen well. Alexander is divided into 3 main sections, each powered by an independent core. You've already fought your way to the innermost part of Midas, the left arm. The core lies only a little way beyond. You may be sure that the Illuminati will have deployed the bulk of their forces to defend it. Hold on a minute. Why would they choose to keep Round Rocks there? The core are just power sources. You're correct. And the answer is, they wouldn't. Round Rocks is most likely being held within Alexander's upper body. But the Illuminati have locked the entrances from either arm, making it impossible to enter. Our only choice is to stop the core, and in so doing, stop Alexander. See, that's actually rather clever. The Illuminati need Round Rocks to control the Primal, but if it can't move, they'd have no need for her. At the very least, they'll have no choice but to keep her safe until the Primal is in working order again. Activating those cores would have used up every crystal the Illuminati had. If we destroy the second one, I doubt they'll have enough to get them operational again. Shh. Do Outlanders truly think Metal Giant can be toppled?